Where we're going to take and pass this is logged in user following. We'll probably have to adjust this here later. And her copilot already knows what I want, unfollow or follow. Because if the user is following, we have to unfollow, otherwise, we have to follow. Let's check how it's fetching this inside our function inside here. It's fetching it within user info. So let's press Ctrl-click here. Let's check what this use state does. There is a function here which is verify is logged in user following. It checks if it's bringing user. We could modify this because we have a function here, if I'm not mistaken, which checks if it is bringing the user. We could modify it, but let's comment, because we have a function here that brings the length of all users. And instead of just getting the length, we can also get all the users. And within the modal we can make this comparison. It will probably give an error because here in user state and boolean we have an array. Just change it now. So no problem, let's take this function to the modal. Let's import it below and remove verify is logged. We are no longer using it, we don't need to do this check. Let's remove it altogether here too that we're not using it. Save the change and return to the page. And now we have an array with our users here inside the modal. Instead of just being the length of how many are following that person. So if we simply put here, it will bring an array, so it won't be true or false. We can make a small function to build this, bringing true or false, and then we change it below. Let's go, const is follow. We can do some that will return true or false from all the users that are inside. All the users that are passing here comparing with the logged in user. It would be ideal, we can make this check. So let's put here what it is bringing now. Is an array, .sum, which will be, follow. We can now compare follow.userID with the question mark. If it was equal to the logged in user we have above, logged in user.id user. It will return true or false. We may have a problem here. Usually when it is an API call, it does not always say here that sometimes it may be empty. We could put a question mark here, but we can also open parentheses here and say that this could also be an array empty. And here below, we have to change it to is follow, which would not be an array and now it is a boolean. It will be checking with is follow. I believe that's it. Let's go back to our application page. To update here. Alright. Let's click here on user 2. It's fetching the information. Looking here, it probably won't work. Because here I put delete with a capital letter. Change to lowercase. Now let's call our delete normally here. I think that's it. And here it is already giving unfollow and follow, so let's check. If I'm not mistaken, to pass the post data it would be like this date. But to delete it normally expects an object with date here. So let's leave it like that for now. In the future we can try to send it another way. In everyday use, we gradually pick up the ways of using the methods. Now clicking follow here. Showed, toast success unfollow. But here it didn't change. Let's close modal to see. We would probably have to use useEffect to change it on the spot. Opening it again we can see that following and unfollowing are already working. With small changes we made to the API call, it started working. Now save here and let's go back to our index and do our last function. We already have almost everything we would need for a blog or Twitter. So let's close everything to avoid visual pollution. And here, we would probably need to add a delete button. We could place a delete button inside the postcard, next to the username. Let's do this.